Good afternoon, fam. It's your girl, Miss Diva Trucker, and I'm coming today to. I decided to do a recorded video because I wanted to tell you about COVID-19 and how I got affected by it and how it changed my life and the things that happened. I never did give y'all a video about what everything that I had went through and what to expect if you ever have to go through it or if you experience it yourself. Okay, so let's take it all back to the beginning, right? in September, in September, I had lost my sister. Okay, Farron, which she is about a year and a half younger than myself, and everybody came in for the memorial service and everything like that. And now we're in the pandemic. It's like you really can't plan a service. You really can't do a lot of things because too many people cannot be in one space at one time, right? So we had a little service at the chapel, and you know to make sure that we did a memorial for her, and um, did that in the late September. um, I remember getting a call from my mom saying that Farron had been rushed to the hospital, and in the back of my mind, because we was getting ready to leave to prepare for the hurricane, in the back of my mind it was like, okay, this is another episode, or she's going to be going to Jackson. But I didn't think anything of it. I just thought that everything was going to be okay. We done been through this before with Farron, having to go to Jackson and all that kind of stuff. So I really didn't give it too much thought. I just was like, let us know where she's going to be. We'll go up there, make sure she's okay and all this kind of stuff. The moment I realized that they was not transmitting her to Jackson this time, they was actually transmitting her over to transporting her over to Gulfport Memorial, which is another hospital that's not too far away. And when they said that, it kind of clicked like, oh my God, what's happening to my sister? So a couple of hours later, we got a call back, an hour or two, I want to say, we got a call back saying that they wanted the family to come up to the hospital, right? So I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this cannot be good. So I packed up, the kids, went and got my mom, and we went headed into the hospital. So when I got to the hospital, two nurses came in the room, and it was me, my mom, Farron's middle son, and Farron's younger son was with us, right? Both of them are under the age of 18. So two nurses came in and they was talking to my mom and talking to us and things like that, and they was trying to prepare us for what we was going to see when we went back there. So my mom, we not thinking or whatever, it's just like, okay, let's go back there, let's see what's going on or whatever the case may be. Nobody expected to see what they saw. And when we went in there, she was already on a breathing machine. So she was already unconscious. She couldn't talk to us. She couldn't say anything to us. And the machine was breathing actually for her, right? So, my mom, just was like, the youngest did not go back there because he didn't want to go back there. But the middle child, which is my nephew Million, he wanted to see his mom, right? So we went back there and saw her and things like that. We FaceTime some people, like her older son, and we FaceTime my sister because my sister has a master's degree. She's a nurse, okay, my older sister. And so she would be able to talk to the doctor and see what's really going on with her and things like that. So when the nurse talked to her and the doctor she called the doctor, and she was saying that my sister was brain dead, and she had no brain activity, and all this kind of stuff. And it really, really caught us by surprise. I always thought that my sister was going to get better, that one day she would just snap out of it and, take control of her life, and, everything was going to be okay, you know, and it didn't happen that way. So that night we ended up having to take her off the breathing machine. So everybody, got a chance to spend time with her, including myself, to have a conversation, just to let her know, how much we cared about her, how much we loved her, and you know, um, things like that. So after we left the hospital and um, came home, we started planning a memorial service for her. And one thing about my sister, she didn't want people to be sad at a funeral and things like that. So we did the memorial service for her. And Tristan, where's my wallet? Tristan, Tristan, you see my wallet? Give my wallet, please. Look in the kitchen. It may be on the kitchen table. So after that, my brother had came, and with us losing Lawanti in March or February, and then us losing, this is my video I'm recording, okay? So at first, the first person I lost was my niece, okay? That's my niece, and I lost her in the end of January, okay, of 2012. I mean 2020. This is my sister, right? So I lost my sister September the 14th. I lost my sister, right? Now this right here, this is Wanty, and this is her mom, okay? So that's Wanty and that's her mom. So lost them too. So my brother Elgin, which is my younger brother, he's 6 years younger than me. And he came and he was like, sis, I'm gonna stay, 3 weeks, because he lived out in California. And he said, I'm gonna stay for 3 weeks because I really think mom needs me and I want to be there for you guys. And so I'm just gonna stay some extra time and send my family back and stay here with you guys. So he came and he stayed with me, right? And so my brother was here with me, and we was cooking crab legs, and he turned me on to asparagus, and he was cooking ribs, and my brother really enjoyed life. He was just he always went out, and everywhere he went, he had friends, and he was never upset or angry about nothing. He was always like the peacemaker of the family, right? And and he always, even though he was younger than me, he was bigger than me. So my brother was like really tall and really big. So he did security work. So anytime I had any problems, any issues or whatever, we had went out to Vegas because he was there to help celebrate my award for the Real Women in Trucking. And he stayed out there with his family with me in Vegas. And if I get into any kind of situation or whatever the case might be, I'd be like, call my brother, because he would be right there. And he was always like my protector. And I was never scared of anybody or whatever the case may be, because I have a big mouth. So I would say things that may hurt your feelings or you may not like. And I really, don't care about it. I'm going to say what I got to say, and it is what it is. And if anybody ever got mad and took it any kind of way, my brother always, like, he was always there on deck for everything. And we stayed out there. We had a good time. He stayed here with me. Wait, did he stay here? We went out in August. Yeah, we went out in August to Vegas. Then we had a great time out there, cooking, laughing, everything. And then we came back here, and my sister died, so he had to come all the way to Biloxi. I mean, to Mississippi again. So he said he was going to stay a couple of weeks, right? So I was like, okay, cool, fine. So he slept in the room or whatever. Every night, my brother went out to go see his friends. Everybody wanted to see him. He just had a good time while he was here. And the Wednesday before he was leaving, I got sick, guys. Wednesday, I remember getting up, coming in the living room because somebody had called early in the morning about a load. And I came in and I was looking at the load, and I, was going over the load and everything with them. And after I got off the phone with the person, I was like, I'm just tired. I cannot stay up, and I had to go to bed, right? So I went back and got in the bed, and he was like, sis, you okay? And I was like, yeah. He said, well, I'm going over to mom, take her to the doctor and stuff like that. You need me to bring you anything back? And I said, yeah, bring me some Tylenol, PM or something, because I was running like a small temperature. It never got to be like 101 or whatever the case may be. It was like 99 or 100.6 or whatever the case. So I just laid in the bed. I had no energy. I didn't want to do anything. And I kind of laid in the bed, and he stayed gone. So when he came back, he brought me some Tylenol PM, and I took it and I went on to sleep. The next morning, I remember that I had to take him to the airport, and he was like, sis, do you feel like taking me to the airport? And I was like, yeah, I'll take you. So I got in the back seat because I was so tired, and I didn't feel good. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I thought I had like a stomach, something was wrong with my stomach. Like, when I went to where did we go on that trip? I was in the hospital, so I thought it was something like that. I didn't know. So I got in the car, I lay down in the back seat. I had a pillow while we rode over there to New Orleans. He brought me breakfast, and I remember waking up and I saw Folgers, and I said, Elgin, that could be one of my shippers. I said, I gotta write that down so I can call and see if they would be a shipper for me. And he said, sis, you always working, always working. And got to the airport. He got out and he said, I love you. I said, I love you too. And he got on the plane and left. And I drove myself back to the house. I went and got back in the bed. And and then the next day, I was like, I just don't feel good. I don't know what's going on with me. He was like, he didn't feel good. His blood pressure was high. He was sleeping a lot, or whatever the case may be. So he went to the doctor. I went to the hospital at Ocean Springs, and he didn't get a COVID test, and I didn't get a COVID test. Okay. They did a CT x ray of my stomach, said nothing was wrong. They gave me some nausea medicine and sent me home. They gave him some blood pressure medicine and sent him home, right? So we was texting back and forth, and all this kind of stuff. And he was asking me how I was doing, and I was asking him, how he was doing and things like that. And we was, doing okay. So I didn't hear anything back from him until I was still in the bed, guys, and I couldn't get up. I couldn't move around. All I wanted to do was sleep. I didn't have any appetite. I didn't have any energy or anything. So one night when um I'm trying to look for the last text message that my brother sent, but one night when he had yeah, this is what he said. He sent me a text, guys, and he said, just checking on you. That was on the October the 8th. He said, I'm just checking on you, right? So that was the one of the last messages that I got from him. And that was one of the last messages I had got from him. And I didn't go back to the hospital. And, I didn't answer my phone. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I wasn't feeling good because every time I would answer my phone, I was so short winded. I couldn't breathe and I didn't want to be on the phone. I didn't feel like talking to nobody. Well, when you don't answer the phone, when my mom calls and you don't answer the phone, my mother called the ambulance because I didn't answer the phone. She called the ambulance. It was like 11 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, I'm in the bed, sleep, and nobody comes to my house, right? Nobody. So when somebody is banging on my door at 11 o'clock at night, I kind of got scared. So I was like, who is it? And they said, it's AMR. And I was like, AMR, I looked through the blind and it was two people standing outside. The ambulance was out there with the lights on. They had a stretcher and everything. So they had came knocked on the door. They said, is anybody in distress in here? And I said, no. I said, I'm the only person that lives here. I said, I think y'all got the wrong house. And he said, no, a family member called and said that you was having trouble breathing and you may need to go to the hospital. And I was like, yes, I'm short of breath, but it's not to the fact that I need to go to the hospital. And I'm not getting in the ambulance for no $700 to go down the street. The hospital is right down the street. So they was like, do you mind if we take your blood pressure? And I was like, no, not if it's going to cost me anything. So they took my blood pressure, said my blood pressure was high, and they wanted to take me to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm not going to the hospital. So, me and Elgin kind of laughed about that because the ambulance to come get me, And so the next day, which I think was a Friday, the Friday, um, I got a call from like my mom's daughter, like adopted daughter, and she said, Tammy, you need to come to the house. It's emergency. And I said, I can't come. I'm not feeling good. I'm sick. And she said, no, I think you need to come right now, your mama. And I was like, what's going on? What's going on? She said, I don't want to tell you, but Elgin died today. And I was like, what? Like, I was in like disbelief. Like, it's like, God, my niece gone, my sister gone, and my brother that just left here a couple of days ago is like dead. And she said, yeah. So I thought, it was a misunderstanding because my brother always liked to play. He always liked to joke around and he always liked to play. So I called this friend and I was like, hey, Josh, I said, call out there to California and see what's going on with Elgin. Because they said that his wife called and said he had died or something like that. And he said, what? And I said, yeah. I said, call out there and see what's going on. So he did. He called and he called me back. And when he called me back and he was crying in his voice, I knew it was real, and I was like, I was just so numb. I didn't know how to accept it. Like at that point in time, I kind of like tuned out, you know, and they didn't know if he had COVID or whatever, but they told me I needed to go to the hospital and get checked right away. So I drove up to the Ocean Springs Hospital. I got checked, came home to the house, and the next day, they called on the phone and said, Miss Brock, this is such and such from the hospital. And well, his wife had called and said that he had tested positive for COVID. So they tested me and they called me the next day and said, Miss Brock, you have COVID as well. And not only that, his wife had COVID too. So it was like at that point in time, I could not grieve because all I remember is that night I asked God, I was like ready to go too. And I was like, just take me with him. He's gone, my sister gone, my niece is gone. I want to go too. I don't want to be here. I thought like being here was like a punishment for me, you know. And I would have did anything like just let me go too, because that's how bad I felt. And you know, and I remember closing my eyes and asking God to take my life, just take me with. I didn't try to do anything to make myself better. I didn't try to take no kind of whatever. I was ready to go myself. And all I remember is I didn't think about my mom. I didn't think about my kids. I didn't think about anything. Only thing I remember was every day I kept waking up and I didn't know why. I kept waking up and I don't know why. I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm trying to close my eyes. I'm just trying to not to wake up anymore. I didn't eat anything. I wasn't hungry. I didn't have an appetite. I could I would get short of breath, even just going to the bathroom, taking a shower. I would not, and Ripley stayed right there in the room, in the bed with me the whole entire time that I was sick. I closed my doors, my windows. I didn't open the door for nobody. I didn't answer the phone for nobody. And I was just ready to go. It didn't matter what anybody said, whatever the case may be. I just made peace with whatever. And I was like, I was just ready to go. And I just, was like, I just kept waking up. And I didn't understand why I keep waking up, why I keep waking up. And eventually, after, a week was gone or whatever the case may be, all of a sudden, I started gaining my appetite back. I started getting a little bit more strength. And I got tired of being in the bed all the time. And I started moving and taking a shower. And little by little, I kept getting better and walking and all this kind of stuff. And it was just like the messages and the prayers and people was coming by my house, leaving food for me to eat, and just checking on me and all this kind of stuff. And then I started thinking about my mom. I started thinking about these 8 kids that's here that have lost a parent already. And I just started thinking about them, and I was like, I got to get myself together, you know, and that's what I did. I just started working on getting better or whatever the case may be, and how I started, getting back to myself, started doing a little work and things like that. So on the 30th of October, I went back. I had an appointment. I went down there to the clinic and took the test, and they called me that afternoon and said that I was negative. So I started feeling a little better and things like that. But now, I got to deal with my brother, just trying to be strong because I didn't want to cry. because it's like my mom is losing everything. You just have to be that strong person to make sure that he has a proper memorial, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm so busy and everything going on in my head trying to make sure everything is um, good with him. And always check on your family members, because we don't believe in cremation. We believe, I believe in a funeral. We need to see the body, we need to have closure. We believe you going in the ground, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, but we still want to have that body. And his body had deteriorated so bad, they said, that they could not do a open casket funeral. So that hurt, because I got a chance. I felt like I didn't get that closure that I wanted to have with him. So now, we got to get ashes, and they bringing them back on, with the ashes and things like that. And I'm like, I gotta do something for my brother. I did Lawanti, I did Farron, with the help of our family and donations and all that kind of stuff. And Elgin deserved to have something as well. So that's why we did something at the park. When it finally hit me, as far as my brother was gone, because all this time I just kept it together. And I think I was like sitting here or getting ready to go cook or whatever. His family was coming in town and all this kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, I just lost it. It was like everything was built up inside of me, and it just had to come out. And because I knew once I lost control, it was going to be hard to kind of get it back. You know what I'm saying? And I went over there, because I knew my brother would have been like, make sure, my baby fed. Make sure my family gets something to eat. So I cooked, took food over there, and sitting in the house with them, it just hit me like things are not going to be the same, you know. And when I tell you there was a cry in me, it was a hurt in me that I was like, I'm not going to ever see, not ever see my brother again. But it was like everything's happening so fast, you just can't rationalize it. And I'm thinking, okay, Wanty got 3 kids. Okay, so that's 3 children. Farron got one, two, 2 kids that's under the age of 18. And then you got 2 more kids with Elgin. So this is like 7. And then not only that, before I could have a memorial service for Elgin, I get a call from Brunswick, Georgia, telling me my nephew died, Victor. And I'm just like, okay, I done had enough. I just can't do this no more. It's like I just done got numb to, the whole situation and everything about it. And it's like, what else can happen? So now we gotta pack up, go to Brunswick and go to that funeral with my they had a grave site funeral. And then we gotta come back and have a service for Elgin and everything. And it was like we all broke down at different times. Like my older sister, she kind of took it hard after the fact, like through the first memorial, because he had 2 memorials. That first memorial, she took it hard. And then I broke down. And then it wasn't until after the fact of my mama, after the services that we had for him, then all of a sudden she called me and she's like hollering and screaming and talking about her son is not going to come back. And it hit her then, so it kind of hit us all at different times. And it's just like I gotta keep going, I gotta keep pushing, I gotta keep you know doing whatever. So that is why I am going to McDonough, Georgia, is because it's a better opportunity up there for the freight brokering business and transportation and warehouses and all that kind of stuff up there. And I need to go and prepare a place, for these young children, that are growing up without a parent, and I sit there and I think, this would be the first Christmas that they will have, and they don't have their mom, or they don't she doesn't have her dad, and it's just so sad. And not only, you know me losing a brother, a sister, and a niece, you got my mom lost two children and a grandchild. My nephew lost a mom, a grandma, and an uncle, and it's just like, oh my God, this is the saddest thing, so we just trying to put everything back together. And how my brother caught it, he was out there with his friends, and they went out, and a girl or whatever said that she had it, and he was around her, and somehow he caught it, and they had took a picture together or something, and he caught it or whatever the case may be, and then he brought it home to me because I don't go nowhere. I stay right here in this house, and that's how I got it. So now that I tested negative, they saying now that you know you only good for 3 months, and after that you can get it again. They got people right now that have caught the coronavirus for the second time. Okay, and it's just really hitting home on how it's affecting so many families, you know, so many families. Like it's impossible almost to not be affected by it, you know. And this is really sad, and it's just a sad thing that's gonna happen to just about everybody in the world, in the United States, and people in my neighborhood, and all that kind of stuff. And it's like you just can't wrap your mind around it. Some people have symptoms, mild symptoms. Some people, be okay 1 minute, in the hospital the next minute, dead the next minute. And some people go through it and get better. And it's like, I always know you're not supposed to question God and what he does and things like that, but it's like, why not me? I'm here by myself. I got Ripley or whatever the case may be, but my kids are grown. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, why, if anybody, me, not my brother, he still has children that under the age of 18. So it's kind of like crazy. Like, what am I going to do? My mom has two kids that she's taking care of in a two-bedroom house, living off of Social Security. She don't get any kind of assistance for them or anything. Just trying to make it, happen. And then me, I don't have, like a 9 to 5 W-2. Everything that I do is strictly on commission. So that's why it's so serious to me. And I don't have time to play games with people or argue with people or get into it with people or whatever. I got 7, 8 nieces, nephews that do not have a parent that needs somebody to depend on. So it's not worth my time to like be in any kind of situation with anybody, and it's like coming into my world is like it's a lot. It is a lot. So I just have to be focused and keep going. And hopefully going up there to McDonald, I have the office, I'll bill, and you guys have been so supportive of everything that I do, with the phone calls and with the business, and calling me, telling me you got drivers and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes I was asking myself, I'm like, God, how am I gonna do all this? I don't have no job. I have a truck, you know, but that truck ain't gonna take care of everything that I got going on. How am I gonna do this? You know, I don't even know where my next like check is coming from or whatever the case may be. And it's like every time I think that I'm not gonna make it, or every time I think that I'm not gonna have enough money to do everything that I need to do, he makes a way for it to happen. Like I be thinking, where's all this money gonna be coming from? And I wake up the next morning and there'll be, I got a check from here. I got a check from here. Somebody's calling me about authority. Somebody's calling me about this. Somebody's calling me about that. And it's just like, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep, walking by faith and stay focused and build and grind and work as hard as I possibly can to be able to um, make sure that they are okay, you know, and that's what I'm doing. So I just wanted to come and kind of share with y'all tonight some of my thoughts of what happened to me because I know I dropped off the scene and I wasn't around, and I was being sick and dealing with my family, and my keychains is filling up. So here's my brother, right? So that's my brother, and that's my niece, that's my sister, right? And that's my brother, Elgin. Okay, so that's where I get my motivation from. That's why I grind so hard. That's what I work for. And guys, I thank you so much for being supportive of me. I thank you for sticking by me. I thank you for everything that you have done because without you, I wouldn't be able to keep going. And we're just going to keep moving forward, helping each other, each one teach one. And I'll see y'all in Georgia, but I'm gonna come back and do, as many videos as I can. But I wanted to do this one on a recorded one, so I could just let you know what's been happening to me this entire time. Okay, so peace, love, joy, and happiness, and you all have a wonderful and great night. And we're gonna try to have a Thanksgiving with all the kids and all this kind of stuff and find something that we can be thankful for. And at the end of the day, I know that each and every one of them is watching over me. Sometimes I think my brother is like right there because it didn't seem so real. I was in the house talking to myself. Sometimes I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I find myself talking to him, and then all of a sudden I hear something moving in the house, and I'll be like, Elder, stop playing with me, stuff like that. So it was a hard hit to our family, and but we got to keep going and we got to keep pushing through. So I love you all. Peace, love, joy, and happiness, and you all have a wonderful and blessed night.